What is up, guys? Zach in here. We're ready to go. We're excited. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to break down exactly everything you need to know, step by step on the entire process out here of finding a deal in under 2 hours. Now, like I said before, this is not a sexy process. This is a lot of hard work. This is a process that is going to honestly take a lot of guts. It's not going to be fun 2 hours, but it's going to be a 2 hours that is absolutely necessary for you to find a deal in under 2 hours. I've helped hundreds of thousands of people get started in wholesaling real estate, and I've helped tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of people get their first wholesaling real estate deal. From watching thousands of people send me in my DMs, thanks, Zach, for getting my first deal, and the countless people that don't, they just take the information and get after it, which I have no problem with. I have really found all these type of people out here going out here, getting the first deal. And there's a good amount of people sometimes that can just go out here, get the first deal without actually really spending too much time. Under 2 hours, they're able to find their first deal. And what I can tell you is it really comes down to 5 ways. I found 5 ways if you want to get a deal in under 2 hours. If you want to go from the end of this live when it's over and then wait 2 hours and then go for 2 hours and find a deal, this is going to be it. And it's not as complicated as many people make it seem, but it is going to be some things that you might know and some things you might not know, right? So what I want to do is really break this down. So let's kind of get the notepad out and really kind of write this for my visual people out here and really break this all down, because I think a lot of people need to know about this. A lot of people need to understand how this works and the entire process of it. So let's break this down. Let's really get into the nitty gritty of this so we can break it down, guys, and let's get it going. So the main way, and I think this is where most people know, like first of all, everything I teach here is at freewholesaling.com. So if you had that question, but let's break this all down. So number one, right, there is going to be 5 main ways. So 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to break down these 5 ways, but there's really the 5 ways for you to find your first deal in under 2 hours. Now, one's going to be a very easy main way, the one I actually show you guys all the time, and that's what we're going to talk about first. But this is just going to be the Zillow for sale by owner list. Okay, it's the Zillow for sale by owner list. And let me kind of skip to another page here and really break it down. So if we want to find the 2-hour deal, right? A deal in under 2 hours. What are the conditions that are going to be met to get a 2-hour deal? Number one, we have to pull a list. And this is really how you develop this. You have to, oh my goodness, what am I doing here? You have to pull a list while marketing. And that's a weird one, right? And what does that mean? If you want to find a deal in under 2 hours, you're going to have to fit this criteria. And this is really where these 5 come in. There's only really 5 main ways in wholesaling real estate of pulling a list while marketing. What can pulling a list while marketing be, right? This can be, maybe I am pulling a list and cold calling at the same time, door knocking, calling, things like this. So really, they can't really be skip tracing, right? Because that gets a little tougher, right? Skip tracing is going to be a little more difficult, right? We can't send mail out to somebody, right? It's going to be hard to send an SMS text out, right? That's going to be very difficult to do, right? There's really not an insane amount of things you can do to get a deal very, very quickly. But I could tell most people watching this, if you actually follow what I'm saying, it's actually going to lead to a lot of really good success and a lot of knowing what to do the right way. So that's what we're going to break down today. So let's get this computer all set here. There we go. All right. What are we doing here? All right. And really, so you can't do SMS text blasting. I think a lot of people are like, oh, Zach, why don't you do PPC or something like that? PPC ain't going to work either. You're going to have to really go down to the 5 main ones. If you focus on the 5 main ones, it's going to get a lot easier for you and you're going to do a lot better. But really, there's really 5. So let's break this down. So you can't really do skip tracing. You can't mail. You can't SMS. Let's say we don't have much money, right? A lot of these strategies, the big pro is it's going to be $100 or less. So like no crazy softwares. Like we don't really need any of that stupid stuff, right? Like we don't really got it. We can't get crazy. Like we can't get complicated. Like the 2-hour deal, what I've honestly found is you really got to make it simple. You really got to pull a list while you're marketing. So go hard in the paint, go ham. You don't do any of the crazy complicated stuff. You really, you make everything super simple. And that's how you do the 2 hour deal. So the 2 hour deal is going to come down to a bunch of things. So number one, like I said, is going to be the Zillow for sale by owners. Why is the Zillow for sale by owner list so powerful? And why am I able to have the best success with it with finding a deal under 2 hours? When I go live for 2 hours and I do these lives and I find deals, how do I do this? And how do I become very successful with this? What I've honestly found straight up right now is number one, I literally have no skip tracing. So no cost. It's free. Number one, I'm dealing with people that are motivated to sell. So it costs me nothing. People are motivated to sell, right? So there's going to be no skip tracing. And a lot of them, they're ready to go. And I can really, I hate to say this the right way, but like I can find pain points easy. Find the pain. And this means I can really find the motivated sellers in the cluster of Zillow for sale owners very easy if I use the right strategies. So this is why the Zillow for sale by owner list works really well. I'm pulling a list by calling. So this is going to be number 4, and this is going to be a big highlight. You are pulling a list by calling. You have to pull the list by calling it. And that's very, very, very powerful. So this is why if you have 2 hours to get a deal, the Zillow for sale by owner list is probably going to be one of the hottest things you can do. And why do so many people who pull the Zillow for sale by owner list, they can't get a deal? And I'm going to give you the quick strategies and tips and tricks because y'all have seen me before. I've gone these live streams and I've closed sellers in under 2 hours all day, every day. I get $50,000 price reductions. I get $100,000 price reductions. And I want everybody to understand this. I'm able to do this because, first of all, I know what I'm doing. And I do have a lot of skills when it comes to cold calling. And that is something I think some people don't understand, that they feel like they can get that really easy. No, for me, 2 hours is pretty simple for me. I'm talking for most people how they can get a deal in under 2 hours, right? The number one thing when it comes to a Zillow for sale by owner is most wholesalers. So let's talk about gurus, okay? Gurus, when they do a Zillow for sale by owner list, it's probably going to take them 10 hours to get a deal. Freewholesaling.com people, wholesalers that are trained from freewholesaling.com, they can get it done in 2 hours. And so let's really break down the difference on Zillow for sale by owners, why the gurus can't get deals. It takes them 10 hours to get a Zillow for sale by owner deal. Why everyone who learns on this YouTube channel and goes to freewholesaling.com to actually learn my criteria, they can actually get deals. Let's break down the big difference, because I just want to tell you Zillow for sale by owners, and you go out here and be like, oh, I'm just going to call them randomly. You're going to get, I always say this all the time, but if you do guru things, so if you do a guru script, you're going to get guru results. And everybody knows the formula. Gurus equal, they can't even get the green because they're broke. Gurus equal broke. Make sure you all write that down. This is very important notes I'm writing for you guys, okay? Gurus equal broke. If you use a guru script, you're going to get guru results. If you use a guru list, you're going to get guru results. If you use a guru line, guru results, like guru methods, guru results. So I want everyone to understand this. If you're doing what the gurus say for the Zillow for sale by owners, you're going to get the guru results, the guru buyers, all this stuff. So we don't want to be, so why do the gurus not do well? Because you're doing the guru stuff. They are broke. And if you listen to somebody that's broke, they're probably going to make you broke. So that being said, why are you able to get a deal in 2 hours from the criteria I do, and why does the average guru do 10 hours? So let's break this down really quick. And I want people, I'm really doing a detailed breakdown on this because you got 2 hours. You really got to understand this, right? Okay. So let's do this. Let's do guru and let's do Zach. Why am I becoming a lot more successful with them when it comes to Zillow for Sale? Why are the people watching this get their first deals from doing this? Okay, let's break this down. Let's make it blue. Okay, number one, most gurus will call all FSBOs. That's what a realtor does. That is not good. And a lot of these gurus are realtors. So, heck, I guess what happens, right? A lot of people don't understand this, and a lot of people get really confused with it, right? So, you don't want to be doing this. I want people to understand this, that like, if you do guru things, you're going to get guru results. This is a very important criteria. You do not call all the Zillow for sale by owners. You do not do that. What you want to do is get a certain criteria on it, okay? And we're checking the audio really quick. Oh my gosh. All right. Number one, we want to do Zillow for sale by owners that are 100 plus days on Zillow. This is going to be very important, okay? So let's get here. So what you want to understand, this is very important. This is the difference between being successful or not on the Zillow for sale by owners. The average wholesaler, okay, is going to call all the Zillow for sale by owners. You're wasting your dang time. Like I've said before, if we only have 2 hours, we have to spend these 2 hours actually talking to the right type of sellers that want to get rid of the property for cash. And if they're calling all the FSBOs, I would probably tell you around 80% are going to easily be trash leads, okay? They're going to be trash leads. All right? Like, I would honestly tell you about 20% of Zillow for sale by owners are actually worth calling, okay? So if you have, this is the difference, right? So I want everybody to understand, right? So if the average guru does 10 hours of calling, 20% of that time will be taken with good leads. All right. And then 80% is going to be with the trash because they're calling all. Okay. Let's do some quick math here. 20% of 10 hours is 2 hours. This is shocking, but right? So here's the big difference why I'm becoming successful. I'm only talking to the 20% that is worth talking to, while the average guru does 80. So I just want everybody to understand this. This is why I'm becoming a lot more successful than the gurus, and this is why the people that are listening to the criteria I do are becoming a lot more successful than the gurus, because we are doing the right lists. So when it comes to getting a deal in under 2 hours, you have to do what is necessary. So you only have to talk to the 20% that are worth calling. And what makes somebody worth calling? And guys, I hope you know, I'm taking as much time on this live stream as possible to break this stuff down, because I think you guys need to understand this. These gurus give the worst trash information, and I just want to give it all today. So I'm here to answer questions too, but I really want to break down how to do this the right way, because I get too many people doing the Zillow for sale by owners, and they're not getting the results that they deserve, that their family deserves, because they're not doing the right way. So I have to break it down in this way so you guys can get the picture here. That's number one. 100 days on Zillow. Why 100 days on Zillow? Because once it's 100 plus days on Zillow, they actually have a motivation. They're more motivated. They're motivated to accept a low ball. They're motivated to accept a low ball offer because it's been listed for 100 days. What you got to understand is the first 100 days somebody lists a Zillow for sale by owner. So let's talk about the first 100 days. The seller wants top dollar, right? Because they just listed it on the Zestimate. They think it's going to be worth $1 billion, right? Number one. Number two, they have realtors calling them off the hook saying, we can list it for top dollar. Your house is worth $1 billion. And then you got trash gurus calling. You got the gurus calling, lowballing them. And what do you do when you think the house is worth $1 billion? Let's say $1 million. And let's say the realtors tell you it's worth $1 million and you just listed it. What are you going to do when somebody lowballs you like a guru does? You're going to say no. You're going to be upset. You're going to block the person. You're not going to do well. But what happens when willy-nilly Zach out here calls that's listed over 100 days? Yes, it might be listed for, let's say, 200 grand, which is way too much than what the thing's worth. But the realtor stopped calling. The guru stopped calling because it's not a new lead. I already called that person. There's no, this person's in crazy land. They'll never sell to me because the gurus mentally give up because they already tried calling them, right? And the person now is like, shoot, I got to sell this house. After 100 days, they actually might need to sell the property now. And they got no other options. And now, boom, you were the person out here that can actually get the thing done, right? So this is why over 100 days is very important, okay? This is number one. This is very, very important. Let's talk about criteria number two. Gurus will call all FSBOs. Let me accept that. They will call all of them. Did I already tell you what the 80-20% is? 80% are going to be trash. We don't want to deal with the 80%. How do I avoid the 80%? 80% equals trash. Everyone's, Zach, how do you always get so good results in 2 hours? I'm explaining it. I don't talk to the 80% trash. This is why I don't have to do 10 hours of live stream when I'm cold calling to get a deal. Number two, very important. And this is going to turn a lot of heads. Not a lot of people are going to like this. But stay below the median home price. Stay below median prices. Okay? What I mean by this, if I'm doing the city of Tampa, for example, so let's look up Tampa, Florida right now. Tampa median home price. I'm going to go to Zillow and look at the median Tampa home price. What this means is the median Tampa home price. So the median price in Tampa, let's get rid of this. So I look up at Zillow. Zillow says, I literally searched median home price Zillow. Tampa, their median home price currently, as of this video, is $419,454. That is what the median home price is in Tampa. So that's what it is. What does that mean? If I'm dealing with single family properties, I'm not going to cold call anybody that is above this list. I'm going to actually filter it out on my Zillow for sale by owners. This is very important. I want people to understand this. If you're calling above, you're most likely wasting your time on trash leads. If somebody thinks their house is worth a lot and it's over what the median home price is, it's not the best. First of all, your cash buyers don't want to be dealing with too many of these type of properties, and the chance of somebody wanting to sell the property for cash for a discount that is actually listed above the median home price is not good. So boom, right there, we're becoming extremely efficient. Number three, and this is very important. Let's talk about another issue gurus have and a lot of guru students. They always lock it up too high. Number two, most gurus always lock the property up too high on Zillow for sale by owner, and that's always a trap. Let me tell you a thing about Zillows. Sorry about that. Got some ice stock. And this is a common misunderstanding with Zillow for sale by owners. And we're breaking down everything you need to know, so in 2 hours' time, you can get this done quick. If a property is listed for $200,000 on Zillow, okay? It was listed, let's say, for $220 100 days ago. And then it dropped down to 200, let's say 7 days ago, okay? Now we know this, right? We see the stuff, we're starting to understand this, right? So 200K is what's listed for right now. This means, what does a guru do? A guru will offer somebody, let's say $180,000 for it because they think they're getting a great price reduction and they think they're stealing this. And then they go to Cash Buyer. They go to Mr. Cash Buyer and say, Mr. Cash Buyer, I'll sell you this deal for $190,000. Like, bruh, this is to Cash Buyer. Guess what Cash Buyer is going to do? Cash Buyer is going to look up the property on Zillow and see it's listed for $200,000. Guess what cash buyer is going to do? Hey, I saw like a drop 20K 7 days ago. If I wait 2 months, it's going to drop another 20K and I'll get it for 180, not 190. Like, duh, right? A cash buyer is going to want a significant discount. And so if I follow a certain rule, most cash buyers just looking at these Zillow for sale by owners, they feel like they could have done it themselves. They feel terrible. So they're going to need a decent discount. What I found is an average cash buyer for a deal like this is most likely going to want between the range of 140, maybe 150. Okay, that's pushing it hard. That's actually going to be what I call a real range. This is going to be the buyer range. And this is how most cash buyers are on Zillow for sale by owners. I actually do deals like this, okay? So that being said, this ain't going to work for cash buyers. Trash. Terrible. Okay, we don't like this at all. That is literally terrible, okay? What you got to understand is, and I hate to say this, now this is coming from a guy that's made over $50,000 on a Zillow for sale by owner deal. I've actually made $50K on a FSBO deal before, okay? I actually have it on my YouTube channel. I actually have it on freewholesaling.com. Most FSBOs are going to yield you around $10,000 to $15,000. That is going to be, actually, let's call it 5 to 10. 5 to 10, 15. There's a lot of room for error here, okay? Like, this is an insane amount per deal. Like, I'm just letting everybody know it's not like a stupid, insane amount. It's really not. And I'm just being completely honest with you. That being said, we really got to get good discounts for these buyers because these Zillow for sale buyers, there's a lot of risk going on with it, right? So if we're at 200K, you got to understand that because you're selling it for 200, that they're saving a lot of money, right? They're not having to pay a 6% to a realtor, right? You're probably paying 2% for closing costs, right? And let's say 2% for haggling, okay? The haggle. That means even the worst wholesaler, I'm just being completely honest, is going to get a 10% discount with any listing if you offer cash. Because you're offering cash and they're not dealing with anything. If you just literally, this is a quick tip for everybody. If you just ask the seller, hey, this is a great list. All right, this is a great line for this. I'm going to write it down for you too, okay? Would you take 200,000 if it was listed on the MLS with a realtor? Write this down. If you can ask your sellers this specific question right here. Oops, hit something. Would you take $200,000 if this was listed on the MLS with a realtor? And they say yes. That means great because I'm offering cash. So if you went with a realtor, you would actually net, and then you do the math, you would actually net right here $180,000. Every single seller I've dealt with will usually accept that. So that being said, everyone pretty much has a gimme of 10%. Everybody. Like on all these, like in 5 minutes, I can do this right now, right? It's not that difficult to do. So mostly everybody can get 10% off of all these listings, just off the bat, right? And one thing I can tell you is I always look at this. If I see the FSBO went from 220 to 200, I say, well, should I wait you out and see you list it for 180 in 2 months, right? Because I see you keep dropping the price. This is really simple, right? And this is where everyone gets wrong, right? So the average knowing that, cash buyers know that too. And that means if you just lock it up for that 10%, you think you're going to make a killing. It's not that. You're actually going to have to get actually probably 20% off that additionally. So what I do is I follow a set. Now, this isn't for ARVs. This is for Zillow for sale by owners only. You follow a 70% MAO on FSBO price. That is your MAO. That is what you're going to be offering. And I know it sounds low, but I want everybody to understand this. If it's 200, you offer 140. I don't care, but make sure that is your MAO, right? And yes, now I want people to understand this. There is a little catch. You can lock it up for above. You can do an above price, but understand that it just gets harder if you do that, right? So I think for every minimum should just offer off the bat 70% off the MAO. I would rather you guys lock it up at that. But hey, if you can't, you can't. But most of the time you should understand that 70% is going to be just for most people who overthink it, right? Oh, because I'm getting asked, what's the percentage to make your physical offer? Just do 70. Just do 70 off the list price. Why not? Just offer it, okay? Just offer it. What's the worst that they say? And I always teach you guys, and I always show it on my live streams. Hey, Mr. Seller, I was talking to my partner, and he was closer to 140 on the house. Or, I was looking at this. If I bought this thing all cash, I closed quick. You didn't pay realtors. I mean, what I can really be here is 140,000 on this. Just act like it's tough for you, right? And I'm telling you, the way you give the offer has got to be really good. And so why do I actually get these deals locked up for really well too? And this is going to be the last part here on the Zillow for sale owners, why I'm actually very good, that gurus never talk about. But it's all about having a great offer. And what makes a great offer? It is how you say it, not what you say. So let's talk about this for a second, okay? It is how you say it, not what you say. That is what makes a great offer. And this is the separation between the millionaires and the gurus, okay? What makes a great offer? It's about how you say the offer, not what you say on the offer. The price doesn't even matter. It's how you say it. And a great offer really comes down to really three concise things. Number one, authority. I don't know if I spelled that right, but whatever. Okay, authority. Hey, I'm the person that makes decisions. This is our offer from our team. This is where we're at. Number one is authority, right? Number two is going to be confidence. This is where we're at, and I'm completely believe in that offer, and that is where I'm at. I'm confident in this. Number three, being firm. And confidence and firmness seems like it's a different thing, but it's actually completely different, right? If you tell people that you're confident with that offer, but you don't stay firm at that price, it's not going to do well. You're going to stay very firm to that price or around that price. And really, you can also add, a secret one. So this is going to be the secret ninja technique. I'm going to call this the ninja art. If you can give a reason. Now, you don't need a reason to actually give a great offer, but it's a secret ninja tactic that can probably get your offer more accepted. And what I mean by the ninja art of having a reason, what I mean by this is, hey, because it needs this, this, and this work. Hey, because my partner told me he's at this price. Hey, because of all the work it needs, my partner's a little upset. It's going to be at this. If you can give a reason why you came up with that offer, it won't guarantee you get the deal. But what I can tell you is, because you give a reason to your motivated seller, I can tell you right now that the chance of you getting the deal exponentially just becomes a lot higher. Once you give a reason to that motivated seller why you're at this price, everything starts bumping up. And when you give a great offer, the chance of them accepting the offer comes down to those four things. Okay? I would tell you most sellers are going to say no. I'll probably tell you this. I'll probably tell you 80 to 85% are going to be a no. But here's the thing. If we got 2 hours and we only got to get one deal, it just takes one yes, right? So if most people are going to say no to that, And the average guru is probably at 95 to 97% no. Let's call it guru, right? The guru. Why is my percent of getting a deal actually go from, so if you really look at percentage basis, the chance of me getting a Zillow for sale by owner offer accepted, I will have a 10 to 15% success rate. Let's make this black. That means I'm getting a 10 to 15% success rate versus a guru who's at 3 to 5%. Why? Why is my success rate so much higher than the guru? Because I'm giving great offers. Because it's not what I said, right? It's not the amount I offered. I destroy my competition in wholesaling real estate, not because I offer more, because of how I say things and how my team says it. It's more important how I say it than what I say. I'm never going to give the most for the property. I'm never going to offer the most. That's not how you make 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90K on a deal. It's about how you say it. And if you can say things with authority, confidence, being firm on that offer, and doing the ninja art of reasoning, I can tell you the chance of you getting the deal is going to go up. It's going to skyrocket. It will skyrocket the chance of you getting a deal accepted. This is when it goes from 3 to 5 to 10 to 15. Why is this? Because you are actually giving great offers. You're actually lowballing them because you're going to get a good deal, staying below the median prices, and 100 plus days on Zillow. This is the difference between the broker gurus and the people that learn from me. This is why those people are successful and the gurus are not, because they're not actually doing it, guys. You see me on the field. You guys see me out here calling these leads. You see me doing it live. You see me actually becoming successful. It's not because I'm this crazy, like amazing cold caller. I'm very good at cold calling and I'm very good at closing sellers just because I've done thousands of deals. But it's not like you have to be at that to do it. And if you can follow these tactics, this is literally what goes on my brain while I'm doing these sellers and doing these type of deals. That's how you do it. And to increase your success rate, this is this little tiny stuff you have to do that no one ever talks about that'll leave you success. So if you want, screenshot this really quick and we'll get to the next part here, because Zillow for sale by owners are not the only way. But what I can tell you is probably going to be the best and fastest way for most people. All right. We'll leave that screenshotted right there for you. And what everybody understand, that for any type of wholesaling in general, these three things on the offer is probably one of the most important things also. So that being said, I want everybody to understand this, everybody know this. These three things are going to be super duper important for you to actually get this deal done, okay? Now let's go back to the next part. What's number 2, right? I said there's really 4 to 5 ways you can get a deal in 2 hours. Number 2, this is, like I've said, it's not sexy. It is not something guru could sell a course on. But if you give me 2 hours to get a deal and you say, Zach, no Zillow for sale by owners, I'm probably just going to door knock. And I hate to say this, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not fun, but really, you got to look for a good area. Honestly, what I'll tell you, 2 hours, screw it. This is probably what I do also. It's even faster. I'm probably going to call a cash buyer and get some areas that they want to buy. And then what I'm going to do is just door knock the areas. Door knock the areas. That's it. Like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, me and my partner are looking to buy some more properties for cash. He's actually owns some properties in the area and he's looking to buy 3 more. Just seeing if anybody's looking to sell their property. We'd love to give cash offers on these, right? The reasoning is because it's going to be the fastest way for you to get a deal. It is not the sexiest way to get a deal. It is not the most fun way. But if you have 2 hours, this is what you got to do. Now, really, what I could tell you is I would rather you pull a code violation list and like door knock them, and like 2 hours to pull the code violation and you don't have that much time, right? So you're going to have to pull the list while you're knocking, right? So you're going to have to find the house and just door knock in the area. But unfortunately, I hate saying it, but like this is going to be another way, right? It's not a very sexy way. It's not a way that a lot of wholesalers like it too much. But I can tell you is this is going to be the best way to do it, right? And so I'm getting some questions like, how do I find a cash buyer, right? So there's a couple of ways to find cash buyers. So I'll show you for the door knocking example, like how I'm going to find a cash buyer. Number one, I'm probably going to go to Facebook groups. And remember, go to freewholesaling.com. I'll show you how to do that. Number two, you can also gather emails and email people from there, right? Number two is I'm going to cold call the for rents because these are going to be landlord buyers. And if you can, ask a title company because they actually have the buyers on lock there. And I know my handwriting stinks, but my wholesaling's good, so it mix it up, right? So ask your title company, cold call the for rents in Facebook groups, $0, find a cash buyer, okay? So I want everyone to understand that if you want to find a cash buyer, this is what you got to do. Find a cash buyer. So remember, guys, if you have no money, you want to find a cash buyer, the three main ways are Facebook groups, cold calling the for rents, and asking the title company. And I want everybody to understand that. Now, remember, guys, I can get more into this. Like I showed the nitty gritty stuff at freewholesaling.com. So make sure y'all go to freewholesaling.com to actually get it. I'll write it down really quick. So actually, no, y'all see it right here, right? Right here. Freewholesaling.com. Just go there. That's where they're all at. Let's go to the next part here. Now, door knocking, I don't know why I put that number 2. I think it scares a lot of people. But hey, it's a very important one, right? So number 3 here. If I got 2 hours, maybe some money, right? Like some money. How am I actually going to make this work, right? I'm probably going to tell you to just do reverse driving for dollars. Okay. Reverse driving for dollars. And really, the reason why is because honestly, in 2 hours, if I put as many sticky notes as I possibly can, I actually most likely probably going to find a good, decent deal, right? So what I'm going to do here is step 1. I'm going to get maybe 200 sticky notes. And let's write a quick sticky note, okay? Let's make a little sticky note, and I'll tell you how I'm going to do it, right? We'll make it life size for you too, okay? A little sticky note like this, okay? That looks pretty good. Looks like a real sticky note. Let's make a little sticky note. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So we have the visualization for everybody. Now remember, guys, I have terrible handwriting, but I've done this a million times. All right, we got the sticky note, right? Let's make it. Okay. So is there a sticky note? So how do I do reverse driving for dollars on this? What do I write? All right. I got my little pen. Hey. I don't know, whatever number. Don't call that. I don't know who that person is. But that's what I'm going to do. Hey, this is Zach. I had a quick question about your property. Please call me, right? That's what I'm going to write in the sticky note. I'm going to slap that onto any type of ugly house possible, okay? So this is going to go to ugly house. Any ugly house I see, it's going there, okay? That's what we write. Those things cost like a penny or 2 pennies each. That's it. Hey, this is Zach. I had a quick question about your property. Please call me. Do not make this crazy, okay? Once you say, this is Zach with Zach Home Solution, you're not going to call, okay? You're getting none of this stuff. This is Zach with Zach Home Buyers. Don't make this fancy, okay? Make it simple. Simple, okay? Did I tell you to make it crazy? No. The people that come and say, oh, this doesn't work at all, because you make it complicated. Make it really easy and super simple, and I'm telling you, results will follow. So this is how you do the sticky note. Not that complicated. You just slap those things on, you'll do well, right? Sticky notes, put them on. Oops. Put them on ugly houses for 2 hours. Really not that complicated, right? And you're going to get them called back. That's it. Like bonus, right? I'll call this a bonus step. But like, if you're going to call them up, I would cold call them also if you can, but that's over 2 hours. So we're going to say no to that, right? So maybe you don't have 2 hours, but bonus on top of that, go do that, right? But just put as many sticky notes as you can on all the ugly properties. And I'm telling you, that's a really easy way to get a deal under 2 hours. Most people aren't willing to put 2 hours for that, but it's probably going to give you one of the best chances of actually getting a deal. Let's see. Number 4. Now, remember, guys, we only have 2 hours to get a deal. So what am I going to do for this, right? All right, let's go. Number 4. Pretty simple, but this is just going to be JV with someone. Okay? Now, let me give you a quick story about myself and about you. Now, I'm a little different, but I get people send me JV deals, and I've done this before where somebody just sent me a deal on DM like last year, and it was, I think, in Miami. And so basically what I did was I knew a bunch of cash buyers in Miami that buy properties up by me because there's no really good deals in Miami. It was a decent deal. Just text my cash buyer, say, hey, I got a deal in Miami, this area. Is this something you want? Yeah, maybe I'll look at it. Sent the info over to him, and he wanted to buy it for, I think, 20K over the wholesaler's price he got it locked up for. And I made 10K because we split it 50-50. And that took me, I think, 20 minutes to do. And I was just playing on my phone, right? And so what I could tell you is I'm about 10 grand on my toilet, just sitting there on my phone, just sitting there, just boop, 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 boop. And because the power of JVing, and I know it was a little TMI, but I'm just letting you know, like in 20 minutes, you can get a lot of stuff done and you can make 10 grand all day, every day. And in wholesaling real estate, I know it's really sexy, the JVing things, and I'm not calling it easy for me, but because I have the people out here actually following me, right, and I got a decent following when it comes with me and Rick, that people just send us deals because they know we got the buyers, right? That's great. But what I can tell you is, yes, for me, it's super simple, right? This is why I like JVing with people and people send me deals. But like for you, you might not have a following, and obviously you shouldn't get a following because you should make money first, so you're not turning a broke guru. But what I can tell you is, how can you do that, right? So maybe it takes me 10, 15, 20 minutes to do it myself. For a team member, for me, it'll probably take a team member 45 minutes for me. But honestly, Joseph Samuel's right. I'll pop that up later, the Elmo gift. But for somebody, it probably take them maybe 2 hours to do it if you're not trusted, right? And so here's the thing with JVing. There's 2 types of JVing, and you got to know which one to help people out, okay? For you, it's only going to be one part. So there's 2 types of JVing, okay? There's 2 types of JVs. And we got to understand this before we start knowing what to do. So there's JVing with people that are trying to sell the deal and lock up a deal. So JV number 1, wholesaler locks up a deal. Wholesaler has deal, but they can't sell it. Very sad. This is where most people can make, this is probably the best one. So when somebody locks up a deal and they can't sell it, when wholesaler number 2 has a ton of buyers, which is great. We turn that frown upside down, right? Ooh, that looks weird. We turn that frown upside down because now we have buyers and we just split the deal 50-50, right? Boom. I can't sell my deal. Someone who comes by has a deal. Awesome, right? Cool, right? That's great. That's JV number one. JV number two is, actually, wait. Do I have a back button on this? Yeah. So that's really how these JVs work, right? So actually, we'll call them one type, right? This is how JVs go. Usually somebody can't do that. So either you're going to be wholesaler number one or you're going to be wholesaler number two. You can lock up deals virtually, right? And then you can't find other people. So you go to wholesaler number two who has the buyers. So maybe I lock up a deal in a place I don't wholesale. I don't really wholesale too much in Washington State. So maybe I'll lock up a deal in Washington State, or my buddy has a deal in Washington State. I'll go to a wholesaler number two in Washington State that has a bunch of buyers, split the deal 50-50. We're both happy. Or I turn into wholesaler number two, and let's say I'm in my market. I live in Washington. I see people virtually wholesaling in Washington. I find wholesaler number one. You're going to have to either, your focus, if you're going to JV, is find wholesaler number ones, or you're going to find wholesaler number twos. Now, what I can tell you is being a wholesaler number two is a lot better. And I think because you already a lot of people already have a good buyers list, they can reach out to people that are virtually wholesaling and they're wholesaler number ones. And then you ever bring a ton of buyers and you bring them through. In under 2 hours, you can easily get deals done really quick, right? And I think so many wholesalers out here get really upset about this, right? They get like, oh my gosh, I can't sell my deal. Or, oh, blah, 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 blah. Like excuse. Just do this. These are how an average JV deal works. And I know how JV deals work, right? So either they have the deal, they can't sell it, or a wholesaler number two has a bunch of buyers, but they can't find many deals. And it's a great little mix, right? That is how you do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no really complicated process on this, but this is how you should JV these deals. Because I have a big dispo team and I'm very good in Florida. Somebody sells me a deal in Florida, I can get it sold very quick because I just sit like this and just get it done. Like, right? It's not that complicated. Now, there's another archetype I've seen that is not as attractive of a thing, but it does work. Where wholesaler number two, they can kind of daisy chain this, right? And so this is going to be kind of strategy number two. Wholesaler number one has a deal, they can't sell it. So what wholesaler number two does is they go, and let's say it's you, and this deal is going to be in, let's call it, where are we going? We're going to call it Miami, Ohio, whatever, right? Miami, Ohio. I actually have buyers in Miami, Ohio, but let's say you have no buyers in Miami, Ohio, but you know a guy that does, right? So here's the deal. What you do is you sign a JV with him for 50-50, and then boom, you're entitled 50%. Now you go to wholesaler number two, who's your other buddy who has a ton of buyers, and he has buyer, which goes to this guy. Oops. And then he gets 25%. Then you get 25%. And you're basically the middleman there, right? And it's still 50-50, right? But what I can tell you is that that's another way I've seen other people do it is, oh, I know a guy. Give it to me and I'll daisy chain it. This is daisy chaining. I don't like it too much, but it is something I want people to understand. It is a thing, though. So I get asked all the time, Zach, is daisy chaining legal? Theoretically legal unless it's stated otherwise on the contract. I don't like it, though. It's kind of like lateraling in football. If you keep lateraling in football, someone's going to get hurt, right? Sometimes it works out, but I just, for a lot of people, it gets very complicated. So I'd be very, very wary and careful when you're doing things like that. But that's daisy chaining. You can JV it, right? Like there's a ton of ways to do this, but honestly, I don't like this daisy. It's called daisy chaining, right? So it's called the daisy chain. And honestly, I don't like it. I don't like JVing my deals. I'll personally tell you this straight up. I don't JV my own deals. because I don't want to give up 50% of my profits. But for a wholesale that can't find a buyer, because I'm very good at finding buyers and doing deals, I get it, because 50% of something's better than nothing, right? So don't do the daisy chain, but like it is an archetype. You can do it. I'm telling you probably not to do it, but to each their own, right? But that's what that part is. All right. Let's go to number 4. Was that 4? That was 4. I think we're on 5 right now. Oh, that was number 3. All right. Let's go to number 4. All right. And this is a big one here. Okay. Actually, wait. That was 4, right? So FSBOs, door knocking, D for D, 4J. All right. So that was 4. Let's go to 5. Oh my gosh. What is wrong with me? All right. That was 4. What's the last part here? Number 5. This is going to be bandit signs. And I've seen it every which way, but pulling a list and marketing, bandit signs actually work. And I got my first 100K in wholesaling from bandit signs. So like I've said, it's not the sexiest thing in the world. It really is not. But what I could tell you is if you can do bandit signs, if you spend 2 hours putting out bandit signs, you could probably find a deal. And if you go hard in the paint on those bandit signs and you have enough of them, in 2 hours, you could probably find a deal. And that's if bandit signs work in your market. But I could tell you, it's not fancy. It's not sexy. But if you just get these little signs out here, we buy houses. Oops. Where's my H? We buy houses cash, and then you put 334 0062 or 76, right? Those little we buy ugly houses. You got the stake in the ground, right? And then you got the grass, right? So it's kind of by a stop sign. You stick as many as you can in 2 hours. You could probably get 50 to 100 out, hopefully. And honestly, if you get this on like a Friday evening or Saturday early morning, like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., like I used to do, you could probably find them pretty easy, right? Most wholesalers aren't willing to do that. And that's okay. Like there's no problem in not wanting to do that. I get it. But what I could tell you is you want to get a deal in 2 hours. Most people aren't willing to put 2 hours into even doing that, right? Because to get results that others don't, you have to do what others won't. And if you want to get these results, that's honestly what I can tell you. The bandit signs are going to be great. So a quick recap for everybody watching this. All right. What are the 5 ways? Number 1, Zillow for sale by owners. Number 2, door knocking. Number 3, reverse driving for dollars. Reverse driving for dollars. Number 4 is going to JV with someone. Number 5 is going to be bandit signs. Now, these are going to be really powerful. What I could tell you is if you have a month or a week, let's call it next week. I want to challenge people to try this. This is going to be a unique challenge if you want to try it. For people that really want to get results, spend 2 hours, okay? Spend 2 hours on, let's say, Monday, all right? Let's spend Monday doing Zillow for sale by owners for 2 hours, okay? You already know the criteria, all right? We're going to spend Monday, all right, whatever time you want, all right? This is I'll probably make a challenge of this later, but right now, you're going to do Monday. We're going to do for 2 hours, okay? Number 2, we're going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, right? Each one's going to be 2 hours long. Hard in the paint, nonstop. So that being said, we're going to spend Monday for 2 hours, Zillow for sale by owners. Number two, we're going to spend 2 hours door knocking. This ain't a suggestion, guys. If you're serious about doing this, is what you're going to do. This is why I've been laying down the groundwork for this, all right? Wednesday, we're going to do reverse drawing for dollars with the sticky notes for 2 hours, harden the paint. If you get repetitive, you might not do well. And then we might spend on Thursday trying to JV with people for 2 hours. And then 5, we're going to do bandit signs on Friday, right? How much should this all cost? Less than $100 probably. But Zillow for sale by owners, bandit signs, and that'll come down to probably 10 hours. 10 hours of work. That's it. That's actually not a lot in a week, right? You can really do that part-time. 10 hours. I'm telling you, this is a plan that can work very, very well. I know for a fact some of y'all watching have already spent more than 2 hours today on Instagram, TikTok, and probably watching like One Piece or something like that, all right? Y'all have spent 2 hours doing stuff which you could have done something else. So y'all could have spent versus watching TV shows or something stupid today. I mean, the only really effective time you've really spent is watching this YouTube channel, which is great for you guys. Don't ever stop watching this channel. Always watch the channel. But like, if you're watching stuff that is not making you money or it's going to be educational for yourself, really, you should put that into some of the stuff here. So maybe next week, you can start making a schedule like this, right? Hey, I'm going to do the Zillow for sale by owners on Monday. I'm going to door knock on Tuesday. Do some reverse drawing for dollars Wednesday. JVing with people. Bandit signs. And maybe get a little taste of every single type of wholesaling they got out there. And maybe get a taste. And I think if you guys do this as crazy as possible, probably get a deal in a week, all day. 2 hours you can, obviously. But if you really want to bump the pace up and really bump up the volume you're doing things, I don't think there's any better way than just going out here and doing a little schedule like this. And you can do it other ways too, right? Like we can really switch this up if you really want and just kind of do this on a weekly basis, right? You can even do this for a month where it's like, week one, you can do a week 2, week 3, week 4, and then week 5. So if you really want to extend this out to a month, you can kind of do it from there. I wouldn't do it monthly. Like I wouldn't do an entire month of it, but I do a full week of it. And I think this is probably going to be a strategy that will work really well for so many people out here. For people that are really indecisive, like, oh my gosh, I'm having trouble making decisions or trouble figuring out what to do or how to do or things get. Why don't you guys just try this? I can tell you is if you do try this and it becomes successful for you, I can tell you straight up, you could probably start doing a lot more deals and start making a lot more money. So that is how you get a deal in under 2 hours. I want everybody to ask their questions if there's any questions on specifically what I said today on this. And I'd love to help as many people as possible in the wholesaling real estate process for it. But make sure you guys go to freewholesaling.com. It's where I teach it all nitty gritty. So if you want to learn the nitty gritty of all this stuff, it is all in freewholesaling.com. So I'll write it down here. Right here, freewholesaling.com. It's all in here. Everything I teach about wholesaling houses, it's all in here. Freewholesaling.com. So if you want to learn exactly how to do this all, it's all there. I literally do not have 10 hours to break down exactly how to do Zillow for sale by owners to see examples of me doing it today. But at freewholesaling.com, it's all there. Pulling lists, buyers, all that stuff. Freewholesaling.com. That's where all this knowledge is at. But I can tell you is this is probably a strategy for everyone. So if you're going to use this strategy, let me know. But I can tell you is a lot of people follow me and a lot of people get really good results from it. I can tell you is if you start doing things like this, a lot of things are going to start changing your life, right? I can tell you, start doing it and start changing your life.